Hi and welcome to Prophetically Whole. I'm Nash, and today we're going to be talking about efficiency and asking ourselves with the Lord, are we efficient? Now, before we jump into this, I'm going to define what efficient means, and this is what the dictionary says. Performing or functioning in the best possible manner with the least waste of time and effort. You know, sometimes we can be very busy, but we're not efficient. You know, we're wasting a lot of time. We're not doing things in the way we should do them. We're doing things like putting way too much effort into something that should be less effort, and we know it, and we're stuck, we don't get it. And so we're going to talk about that today. And another thing I'm going to talk about also is what do you need to automate? In this series, if you're new to this channel, we're talking to the Lord about practical things to do in our lives to make our lives more whole. That's kind of the point of the series. This is kind of the verse that I felt the Lord highlighting for today. This is Ephesians 5:15. Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of time. And I think this is really a good verse for us to take away. Are we making the best use of time? And I think every couple months I have to re-ask myself this question, because as the ministry grows and expands, we have had to go through so many different infrastructure changes over the years in order to keep up with, when I first started my channel and I had 140 people, everyone in our area, and stuff, and people that went to our church and everything or whatever. It was just like, it's very different than 30,000 people, the amount of shipments, the amount of orders, all sorts of stuff. It's like things have had to change in order to create processes and systems that are more efficient for a bigger capacity. If you want more, you're going to have to probably fix and change your infrastructure, because can you really handle what you're believing God for well? And you'd be like, of course I can handle it. Can you really? And sometimes you have to be honest with yourself. I heard this one minister before. She said that she, had an opportunity to go on television, and it's not me. She had an opportunity to go on television, and she assessed her staff and she assessed their finances, and she just realized it wasn't time yet. And then, I think it was the next year or the year after that, then she went on television. But she had to do an assessment to see if they really could handle the blessing that God wanted to give them. And so they had to bring everything up to get ready for what God wanted to do with them. And so, I think when we establish whether we're efficient or not, it helps us from crashing and burning. We receive something too quickly and we're not actually ready for it. Sometimes I'm asking God for something and it's not manifesting. And sometimes he'll be like, you're not ready for it because you're not efficient enough. You need to change a system or a process. Now, I'm going to go through a couple of things, but before I do that, I want to start you with this thought. Efficiency costs money up front, but ultimately gives you more time and money in the long run. Okay, now you might have to invest in something or put a lot of time into something to build software. You might have to buy software in order to create something that's easier for you, that you can kind of just let it go on its own. But in the long run, it will create you more money and more time. The first thing I want to talk about is home efficiency. Is your home really running efficiently? Is your home really running efficiently? The first thing I'm just going to trigger some ideas. Obviously, these don't have to be true for you. I'm just dropping them as ideas, and maybe the Holy Ghost will give you your specific idea. Here's an idea. Maybe grocery shopping is a waste of your time. Nowadays you can get your grocery shopping delivered, and you could get it all packed up for you and you pick it up. I've seen both. I think Walmart has free pickup. I think Publix has paid delivery. Or you can hire a shopper and they can go get everything for you. If you're really particular and you want your grapes to look a certain way and you want your apples to look a certain way, you could hire somebody. There's people that do that for a living. And so maybe you need to get that hour back every week that you were going grocery shopping and start using that hour to work on your dreams. Is your home running efficiently? Or maybe you feel like you have no time with your kids and maybe you need to cut out grocery shopping. Or maybe some of you need to stop going to the grocery store 2 or 3 times a week. One of my friends, he was talking about how that just ends up being a waste of money because, you never go to the store for just one thing. You think you're going for one thing and you end up going for several things. And so, because you see stuff, and so you end up actually spending more money by going more than once. And so, you want to make sure that you write down everything that you need. You need to go through your house and make sure that you got everything on that list. So you're going once a week, okay? Jesus. Another thing is you might want to buy a robot vacuum. Maybe you don't have time to sweep the floors anymore. Maybe you don't have time to vacuum anymore. Maybe you need that 30 minutes, hour back in your life, and you need to just buy a robot thing to go around. Now, I know some of you are paranoid about robots, and so maybe that's not going to be good for you. But for me, until it's walking and talking, let that robot clean the house, okay? And maybe some of you, you need to stop mowing your own lawn. Maybe you need to pay the neighbor $20, that neighbor kid that's trying to save up for his first car, first bike, whatever he wants, and, give him $20 and get your hour or 2 back, Why? Why? Your time is more valuable than money. Sometimes you really have to understand that. I think I've learned that over the years, that my time is way more valuable than money. And that's why when someone offers to pay me for something, it's just like I really have to think about that because I really value my time. It's like I only get so much free time because of the amount of time I put into this ministry, and am I really going to give up that free time in order to get paid? Money's not always worth it, and so your time you can't get back. God could always give you more money. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is business and ministries. Now, you might need to ask yourself, is your business or ministry running efficiently? It might not be. Here's some examples for you to just think about, and maybe God will give you your own specific example as well. Me and my husband, this sounds crazy when I think about it right now, because right now if we did that, that would be just astronomically stupid. But we used to, in the beginning, manually send every ebook. So if someone would buy an ebook, we would attach a file to the email and we would manually send the ebook. Oh my gosh, so dumb, an absolute waste of time. Instead, we invested in a software, and the software sends the email automatically. So we have never sent an ebook ever again. It just is the software. It automatically sends the ebooks. And some of you have probably gotten that software that sends you the ebook automatically. We have nothing to do with it. It's the software. But that saved us a bunch of time, because every night my husband would have to sit there and he would have to see who ordered ebooks today, and he would send out all the ebooks. And so people would be like, I bought my ebook, but I never got it, even though it was only 2 hours ago or something. And they would already be like, I don't know where it is, because people are expecting it instantly. And so, we invested in that software, but by investing in that software, it saved us a bunch of time. As a minister, you might have to ask yourself some of these questions. What can you automate? And it's the same thing for entrepreneurs, business owners. You might be doing too much stuff manually, and you just need to buy some software. You need to buy some computer stuff and let that do it. Because, you need to use your staff for what they're really good at. Maybe your staff, you got a interior designer in your staff, and that interior designer has to sweep the floors and do all this other stuff, when the vacuum, the robotic vacuum can do that, and the interior designer could be designing the new set for your new TV show. It's like you got to use people where their skills really need to be, and let software and whatever do the other things, or maybe hire people that are skilled in those areas. Maybe hire a professional maid to come in and clean, because here's the thing, people that are skilled at something, they're going to be better at it and they're going to be quicker at it, versus just any old person, some random person, you just throw them on. And I think this happens in the church a lot too. It's not just business, It's like we want all these volunteers because we're like, we need volunteers to come in and do this. Sometimes those volunteers are not skilled in a certain area. There were certain people I had working registration that should not be working registration. It's not because they're not a good person. It's not because they're not nice. It's just because that's not their lane, and I had to move them into a different area of the conference or something like that. Because, you got to be, hey, what's up? Welcome to the conference. You can't be like, hey, here's your ticket. You can't do that, So, you got to put the joyful people out there, and the tired people, they can come back and hide with us, you don't need to be out there with everybody else, And so it's just like, you have to know where people are the most efficient as a leader. It's like, what is their skill set? What are they the best at? Because I guarantee you they are going to work better in that area. Okay. Another thing that we did in our ministry was that we used to have to manually input every single member into our software, which was just such an absolute waste of time, because they would fill out a form, and then instead of that form being enough, then we'd have to manually put the form into the system. So what did we have to do? We had to buy another software, and the software now allows them to sign up automatically. It allows them to make changes if they want to change the date, the amount, they want to update their email address, anything like that. They can go in and do that all themselves. If they are in full control, they just sign in and they do it themselves, and we don't have to do it anymore. But that saved us a bunch of time, okay? And so it's these little foxes that spoil the vineyard. You're like, I don't have any time. Maybe you need to automate something. You really need to think about that with the Lord. I pray the Lord drops something in your shipping. Another thing for business and ministries is maybe you need to streamline your shipping more. Maybe you are sitting there manually writing at your return address when you need to buy address labels, okay? Or maybe instead of buying address labels, maybe you just need to have envelopes printed with your address on them, so you don't have to do that anymore. That's a waste of someone's time, and it's monotonous. If anyone who's doing that is tired, they're just like, if I have to write this address one more time, they're gonna fall asleep. Just spend the money. Nobody wants to do it anyway. Just invest in it and let it be done, Jesus. So I want you to right now ask the Lord, and obviously you don't have to do any of these things. They're all just mental triggers for you, things for you to think about. I want you to ask the Lord today, how can I be more efficient in my life? How can I invest in something, whatever it might be, so that I can move forward quicker and easier versus I'm just dragging, I'm just grinding. Grinding is part of the curse, and you need to remember that. Adam did not toil till after the curse, okay? He did work, and some people take it to another extreme. He did till the land, he did work the land, but it was not burdensome and there was not toil, okay? So if you're toiling, you need to understand that that is part of the curse, okay? And obviously, we'd have to tap more and more into that, but if you're toiling, that's part of the curse, and Jesus became the curse for you, okay? And so we are back into, what Adam had, and we should not have to toil. And part of toiling sometimes is you haven't automated things, you haven't made things efficient, you're holding on to something, and some of you, it's honestly that you need to let go of control. This was really hard for me. And I was doing a Discerning the Spirits conference. The conference was sold out, and I don't know how many people I had working that day. I don't know, but enough. And I normally go around and and this was several years ago, micromanage everyone because I'm nervous, okay? I'm like, is everything okay? Is the product table okay? Is the registration table okay? Are the chairs set up? Where's the signs? Where's this? And I'm just making sure. And I'm sure I was driving everyone on the conference team absolutely crazy. And as I was praying the morning before the Discerning the Spirits conference, when I was doing deliverance and stuff, the Lord spoke to me and he said, okay, I don't want you to micromanage everyone today. Do not micromanage everyone today. And I was like, okay, and it was I felt like this. I'm like, what if something goes wrong? You're just nervous that something's going to go wrong. And he's like, you got to trust me. I told you who to put in these positions, so I trust them, and you got to trust them too. And so I was like, all right, Lord, And you know what? I had so much peace at the beginning of that conference. I was just walking around in my prayer time. I wasn't double checking on anything. My assistant for the day, she got me some tea, and I was able to just sit there with the Lord and get downloads, fresh downloads for the conference, and just really walk in a great move of God, and tons of people got delivered that day. We cast out so many devils out of people, and If you've never been to one of my conferences, it's a little crazy. But anyway, and so, we cast out a lot of devils, and the Lord really moved. And so I just want to encourage you, let go of control. I totally get it. If you're a leader, an entrepreneur, you're the face of a ministry, you're the face of a brand, sometimes it can be hard to let go of control because you don't want to look bad, But you have to come to this point is where, God trusts those people if He put them in position, and you just got to let it go. Now, that doesn't mean let anyone do whatever they want. I still check in and things like that. But if the Lord says just let it go, then let it go. Stop wasting your time on things that aren't as important. I needed to be in prayer. I didn't need to be checking the registration table to make sure we had the right piece of paper or the right pen, I hope this video blessed you guys today. If you feel led, you can always sow into this ministry at knashministries.com. Just click on the giving tab to sow into this Prophetically Whole series. I know this is a little bit different than what we normally do here. We mainly just normally release prophetic words, but I really felt like the emphasis of the Lord for this month really was focused on getting practical things in order to get ready for the big thing that He was about to do. Hallelujah. All right, you guys, make sure you ask the Lord what is efficient in your life and what is not efficient, and try to figure that out with the Lord so you can really get on His plan and not waste your time. You don't need to be toiling. You do need to be working, but you don't need to be working in a way that's not making any sense. All right, you guys, I love you. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with another teaching in our Prophetically Whole series. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you then. Bye, guys.